Hello there, people of the internet. People keep asking me about Minuteman loadouts because they're exciting, and I have the prepper community kind of like leaning towards my channel, even though I don't necessarily do a lot in terms of prepping. But hey, they're here, so let's go ahead and make some content that they want to watch. So Minuteman loadout. I have my stuff that I show off on the YouTube channel, and then I have my own private stuff that is my business. And I don't show off that stuff on the internet because what I would actually use is not the business of the public audience. However, I do have stuff that I'm going to represent what I would very closely use in the event that I have to use something as a Minuteman loadout. So let's go ahead and cover a couple of caveats. People confuse a Minuteman loadout with a Bugout system, and they'll have all sorts of stuff on them that they don't necessarily need for a Minuteman style of situation. And whenever I say Minuteman style of situation, I don't necessarily mean like, hey, guess what, we're gonna go fight some tyranny, which is what most people think of whenever it comes to Minuteman situation. A Minuteman can be something as simple as, hey, there's, someone trespassing on my property and they're armed and they're looking for trouble. Guess what? Now I got to be armed as well, and I got to be able to handle something. Or Minuteman could be, hey, there's some trouble over here at a neighbor's house, and they need my help, and they need it right now. So I need to grab my stuff right now and get my happy ass over there. As a matter of fact, right here, where I'm at, in that direction, in that direction, in that direction, and in that direction, I have a couple of neighbors, and we have ourselves a system. I guess I'll call it a system. A system where if we need assistance, we all have specific colored flares that we can use to show off to the other neighbors around us, like, hey, we need help. If you see this color flare, then that means get your shit and get over here because I'm in trouble. And the reason why we do that is because out here where I'm at, ask me how I know this, it takes about 20 minutes for emergency services to get out here. Yeah, I have needed them out here before, and it took about 20 minutes for them to get here. And I tell you what, that was a very eventful 20 minutes. But since then, me and the neighbors around me, not all of them, but several of them, we've adopted several flare systems. We got red flares and white flares. White flares, hey, we got a problem, I need somebody to come over here. Red flares, hey, we got a problem, get your shit, get over here and get ready to put some lead down range. Like, that's, if you see a red flare, you got yourself a big situation, and that means that we all gotta get over there and get over there right now. Now, the reason why we use a flare system instead of like a radio system or something like that is simply because the flare system is fast and simple and easy. You launch a flare up into the sky and the rest of us see it and we know what direction it's coming from, so we know whose house it is that we have to go to. Whereas something like a radio system, if my radio's not on or the battery's dead or something like that and someone calls, hey, I got a situation, and suddenly I'm not there to answer or pick up or something like that. Or maybe they try the cell phone, and here in the middle of scenic butt-fuck nowhere up here in Florida, there are several times where for whatever reason my cell phone will decide that it doesn't have service, along with all of their cell phones as well. It's like a legitimate problem that we have up here where our cell phones will just decide that they don't feel like working. So we can't use our cell phone to contact each other and say, hey, we got a problem. So flare system, very simple. I mean, it's rudimentary, but it's fast, it's easy to use, and we all know what it means if we see a flare go up into the sky. But if we see something like that go down, there's a couple of things that I suggest if you are in a situation where you need to go full-on Minuteman. I hear birds screaming in the background, and they're not Kevin. It's kind of a unusual feeling. But if you need to set yourself up for a Minuteman situation, not necessarily just to go off and fight tyranny, but if you have to arm yourself to go take care of a problem, which literally has happened here, and I don't want to talk about it, but there have been times where you have to get your shit because there's something going down and you have to go take care of whatever the hell is going down. Depending on the situation and depending on how much time you have, my recommendation, of course, you can do whatever the hell you want. Get yourself like a minimalistic kit, a bare minimum, set of stuff that you can carry around with you. With this being a Minuteman situation, it is not a Bugout situation. You're not going to go live in the woods for the next 3 years surviving on bushcrafting hunted meat. This is, you have a situation with somebody who is doing harm or damage at this particular area, and you need to get your stuff and get down there and take care of the problem, or they're on your property and you need to get your stuff and take care of the problem. My recommendation, this is like the bare minimum setup that I would recommend. I would recommend having yourself a good setup rifle. This is not my go-to rifle. People always yell at me because they're like, hey, that's a terrible setup rifle. Guys, this is a coyote gunning a range toy. I do not plan on using this rifle for practical purposes. So get yourself a rifle and run that rifle a bunch, know it's gonna work, you know, do all the range day and training and break-in periods and insert XYZ amount of information here. Get yourself a rifle that you know is gonna function for the situations that you find yourself in. I recommend having a light. I'd rather have it, not need it. Don't use it in a way that makes you a target. Get yourself an optic, get yourself some backup sights, and get yourself a sling to be able to carry it around. You don't want a real heavy, real powerful rifle if you are in an area that is like an urban area, and over-penetration might be an issue. In that case, I'd go with more like a PCC. But here in the open plains in the middle of scenic nowhere that I am at, over-penetration is not really a big issue, so a 5.56 223 rifle will do fine. Get yourself a rifle that's properly set up, has all the crap inside of it, and then get yourself one of these. This right here is a magazine pouch. I almost called it a bandolier, but it's a magazine pouch, holds 4 mags, standard capacity mags. That's 30, 60, 120 rounds of ammunition plus the magazine that you have inside of your rifle. And this right here is very simple, very easy to toss on. If you have a situation going down, toss that on, grab the rifle, get moving. You do that in like 5 seconds. You saw me just throw this on. Now, that is for a situation where, like, things are going down. They're going down right now. There is lead flying through the air, and you need to get moving. You don't have time to get all your other crap. The reason why I recommend a magazine pouch is I'd rather have a way to hold these magazines rather than just grab the magazines off of like a table or a desk or from a drawer or wherever it is you're storing magazines and like shoving them into the pocket of your jeans and whatever. This right here is a good, quick, simple, easy, cheap way to be able to carry a bunch of ammunition on person, nice and simple. Just throw that strap over you and you go ahead and get moving. Now, do I recommend using a plate carrier? Hell yeah, I recommend using a plate carrier. If you have the time to be able to throw it on, a plate carrier can take anywhere from 45 seconds to maybe a minute and a half to put on properly, depending on your setup. Whenever it comes to plate carriers, there are 2 different kinds of plate carriers. There's the Minuteman plate carrier, and then there's the Bugout plate carrier. The Minuteman plate carrier is very, very simplistic, and you want it to be as simple as possible so you don't have all these belts and loops and all sorts of shit that you have to get moving onto yourself. The Minuteman plate carrier is there to either hold ammo and medical and to stop bullets, and that's pretty much it. In my particular case, my Minuteman plate carrier, it's a level 4 vest, front, back plate. I don't have side plates on it. It's very easy to just take, toss on, bam, now I have myself my plate carrier. I don't have anything else on it. I literally have nothing else on it. And that is one of the reasons why it's so easy to toss on. I don't have to worry about all this extra crap getting caught on anything. So whenever I take that plate carrier, I toss it on. I got 2 little buckles that I just kind of snap, and I have it on within like 15 seconds. After that, instead of having crap attached to the plate carrier, I have my magazine pouch that I toss on just like that. It takes another 2 seconds. And within like 20 seconds, I have myself a good setup to be able to go. Now, if you have like shots coming at you and you don't have time to put on a plate carrier, that's where grabbing something like this comes in. The reason why I recommend keeping your ammo separate from your plate carrier for a Minuteman situation is because if you don't have time for the plate carrier, you will absolutely have time. No matter what is going on, you will have time to grab this magazine pouch. Because it is so simple. If it is sitting at wherever the hell it is at on the ground, you just grab, toss, and get moving. You will have time to grab this, but you won't necessarily have time, depending on the situation, to put on a plate carrier. So, I mean, you can have ammo on your plate carrier. Go ahead and do that. I recommend just having something like this as well as that. So you got yourself a way to make holes. You got yourself ammunition for the thing to make holes. You got yourself a way to stop holes from being made on you. Now you need a way to patch holes. I have something very similar to this. It's kind of like a, what would I call it? I'm not even sure what I would call it. I cannot remember the name of it, but one of those bags that like sticks on your side, but it's got a strap on it just like this. But in that bag, I got a bunch of medical shit. I got like chest compressions and gauze and bandages and like tourniquets and all sorts of stuff to stop bleeding coming out of holes and to prevent people from dying. It's pretty much a emergency medical kit, I guess that's what I would call it. But in the event that something goes down, it would be just as easy to grab that and throw it on as it would be for this thing. You don't necessarily need the plate carrier. I would absolutely recommend having it if you have time to put it on, but if you don't have time to put it on, then that might not be something that that you'll be able to do. I mean, if you can't do it, then you can't do it. But if you have something like this, with how easy it is to put on, you got your ammo, toss that on, grab the medical, toss that on within like fractions of a minute, you would definitely be ready to go. Now something like this, it's not heavy, it's not bulky. Something like the medical bag, it's about this size, it's roughly this size. And it's also not heavy and not bulky, so you can just toss that on. Something like the plate carrier, whenever you don't have a bunch of extra crap hanging off of it, you don't need like bushcraft tools and fire starter and all this extra stuff for not bugging out. This is just you taking care of a situation. Now, in the event that the situation escalates to something that lasts for longer than what a Minuteman loadout would give, then that is less of a Minuteman situation and more of a bugging out or bugging in situation. So by that point, you would need more supplies. But for the sake of the Minuteman argument, this is not a situation where you have to get all of your extra crap to go out and survive somewhere for a week. Keep it simple, keep it quick, keep it things that are lightweight and easy to maneuver around with. If you are in a Minuteman situation and something's going down, odds are you're gonna have to do a little bit of maneuvering and whatnot, so getting yourself all this heavy crap on you probably is not gonna be a good way to go. Get a way to make holes, get a way to carry ammo so you can make holes, get a way to patch holes made, and if you can manage, get a way to make sure that if you are hit with something, that no holes are made in you. I definitely recommend getting yourself some body armor if you have the time for it, but there are times where you don't have the time for it. So, yes, recommended, no, not essential. Ignore the bushcraft tools, ignore the fire starter. If you have something like attached to your bag or something like that that has a couple of calories in it, by all means go ahead and bring that along. Maybe you'll need a snack for taking care of whatever the situation is, depending on the situation. Not essential. I mean, bring your canteen with some water in it, or maybe a water bottle or something like that in the event that you end up needing that. But for the most part, if it's a Minuteman situation, it's going to be done and over with within seconds. So you won't necessarily have to worry about all this extra crap on it unless you're in like a specialized situation that requires a little bit more. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are down below. I do appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share, description below, link to all sorts of stuff. Let me know what you guys' setup is. Mine is very, very simplistic. You guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day. I'll see you all in the next episode. I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. The poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.